It's all about the ugly tie. What? This is one of the most important trophies I ever got. What are you talking about? So first, let me just take you around my office. I want to show you some important things, and I'm sure you have important things in your office. This is a picture of Bryant College students, Bryant University. They had me come in and speak, and it was really cool to go back to your alma mater and be asked to brought in. Like, that was really cool. They all signed it. This is just a card from my nephew Matthew, and he just calls me UD, Uncle Darren. But just, you know, family matters. Over here, you'll see this is my CSP. So that was like a huge award that I got from the National Speakers Association. And then behind that, you'll see it's hanging on my regional contest trophy. That was the speech that I won that brought me to the World Championship. Here, this is also super cool. This is a Toastmaster club in Sydney, Australia that named their club after me. In Sydney, if you ever go, Stage Time Club. This obviously is the World Championship trophy. That's big in my life. That was life-changing since I had never really won anything until like that year. Coming over here, these are just some of my other trophies, and I'm a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer fan. This is kind of interesting. This is one of my buddies put this up in my little cube at Bose when I still have my day job. But what really matters to me is this tie. Without this tie, none of these other things would have ever happened. So the ugly tie. Early on, before I wanted to be a comedian, I was really into acting. Like after I graduated college, I had this little secret love of wanting to be in movies because I love movies. And so I took some acting classes. And this guy, I always remember his name is Bob North. He was my acting coach, and he would teach me a lot. But I always remember one lesson he said. He said, the day that you're going to quit, the day that you finally had enough, that it's too frustrating, that's the day you would have got the job. And he's talking about auditioning. So when you're going to audition after audition after audition, it like, how many do I go through? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. And he said, sometimes it's not you. Sometimes they're just looking for a different look. And sometimes it is you. But he said that time, that day that you're going to get up, that's the audition you would have landed. And so back in those days, again, long before speaking, I worked at Bose Corporation. That's where the cube was. I worked at Bose Corporation, and I would leave my job whenever I got an audition. So I did some commercials and things, but for a long stretch, I got nothing. And I was trying to do local commercials to hopefully get the national commercials, and just nothing was happening. So I would drive in, I would take time off from work and take time off from my day job, go drive into Boston, because that's where 90% of the auditions were, and then drive back to my job. And I was doing this for a long time, and you know, how many do you do before you say enough is enough? I always remember I was at one of the big casting agencies in Boston, and I sat there and I was waiting for like 2 hours. And I had left Bose. I drove a half hour into Boston, had to find parking, had to walk over to the casting company, and I just sat there, and I'm just like disgusted. And I was along the line of these other actors waiting to go in, and this guy just walks up. And he walks over to the casting agency agent and says, you know, hey, I'm here. I'm just taking off from work. I need to go right in. And they took him next. And I was like, what the buff? And I walked up to the casting agent and I said, what's going on here? Like, I've been waiting for 2 hours. I took time off from work. He lives in Boston. I was just mad. I was furious, but I was trying to remain professional. And she said, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, well, why would you just let him go first? Well, you know, he had a relationship with her, so I understand that, but I was frustrated. And I was like, that's it, I'm done, I'm out of here. And then I remembered Bob North saying, the day that you're going to quit is the day that you would have landed the role. I was like, fine, been waiting. All right, then this is the day, because I was ready to quit. So I go in there about 20 minutes later, and it was for September Productions, which is a huge thing. It was for a national commercial for Hanukkah. Konica, the photocopy company, and it was just something magic that happened. I just had this way, and I cracked up the casting crew, and it worked. And of course, you know the end of the story. I got the job, and it was my first national TV commercial. And I played this guy who worked for a hubcap company, and this is the tie that I wore in the commercial. And I pulled the product because it's like cheesy, it's like iron-on decals, but this tie meant so much to me because it reminded me that Bob North was right. When you want to quit, that's the same day you're going to have a breakthrough. I know you probably have a story like that. I hope you share it. I hope you put the comments below and tell everybody else who watches this, I was going to give up and got a breakthrough story. So, what's your story? This is day 11 of the 90-day challenge. See you tomorrow.